The United States has had ups and downs in its in the way that it's approached Latin America, but in general, I'd say over time, it's kind of regarded Latin America, and especially the smaller countries closest to the United States, like Central America and like Caribbean countries, as kind of strategic prerogatives of the United States. The United States, this is the traditional backyard, the so-called backyard. And so it's the sphere of influence of the United States. They exercise control. And if they have governments that are not to their liking, then there's an effort to try to change those governments. That was particularly so during the Cold War years. I think it diminished after the Cold War, but is still out there and certainly has shaped a lot of attitudes and a lot of thinkings of Latin America. And a lot of Latin Americans have historical memory and know that the United States, there is this asymmetrical relationship with the United States. The United States is powerful in military terms, in economic terms, in political terms, and many of the small countries certainly are at a disadvantage. And so that kind of attitude persists. Although I think it's important to recognize that certainly since the Cold War ended in the early '90s, there has been a change in that, because a lot of the coups and a lot of the interventions of the United States had to do with countering Soviet influence in the region and wanting to keep countries aligned with the United States. Latin America was the battleground for the Cold War, especially in Central America in the 1980s, with civil wars in Guatemala and in Nicaragua and in El Salvador. And the overriding concern and interest of U.S. policy was to win the Cold War and to prevent the Soviet Union, the big rival, to get a foothold in the region. And so basically, the view was that countering the Soviet Union trumped everything else.